Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for the podcaster who's here for one of the first times in the show to read you a story, but it's more of a paraphrase full of meanders. So this will be fun. There's always something new for you to barely pay attention to. If you're new to the show, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. But let me tell you a little bit more about it. First of all, most people don't like this show when they first find it, but I hope you give it a few tries so that you could see if the podcast can help you fall asleep or take your mind off of stuff or get back to sleep or give you a distraction during the day. Or really what the show is cutting through the loneliness in the deep, dark night and giving you something other than whatever is keeping you awake to focus on, something that's a little bit silly, a little bit goofy. But I'm really feeling thankful, like when I'm recording the show, also sweaty, but thankful and sweaty. Who would have known you could feel those two things at the same time? But maybe I'll tell you why I'm sweaty in the intro. I'm not sweating my sweat. That's how honest I am. But really, I'm thankful I get to make this show. You know, my sleep goes up and down. And when I hear from somebody else, I help it. It puts things in perspective that I get to help other people that are going through something that I struggle with too. Or that I could be your companion and at least make it not full of dread and not that you don't have to do it alone. We all get to go through this in different ways together. And have a little bit of fun while we're doing it, really. I mean, what could be more fun than me talking about synthetic materials and sweating, maybe, in a few minutes. So welcome to Sleep With Me. If you're new, give the show a few tries. There's no benefit to us. So if you already loathe the show, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you has other sleep podcasts you could check out and sleepy stuff. But that's just what, about 1 million people have said over the 10 years we've been making the show. It took 2 or 3 tries to get used to realize the show never made any sense. What works about it is it never makes any sense. So give it a few tries to see how it goes. What we got coming up is most people enjoy the show, the version that you're listening to, an ad-supported version. They listen linearly. So our structure of the show is based on that. It eases you into bedtime. So first, we're going to have support, so paying for the show is optional, then a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime or as you get ready for bed, and then a bedtime story from Charles Dickens, of all people, later on, with plenty of pointless meanders from Scoots. So thanks so much for coming by, and these sponsors are what enable us to do this for free twice a week. All right, everybody, this is Scoots, and Sleep With Me Plus is now available for gift subscriptions. So if you're looking for the best gift for yourself, a Sleep With Me listener, or someone else in your life that is a Sleep With Me listener, but if someone asks, what do you want for Sleep With Me? I mean, what do you want for your holiday gift? You could say a year of Sleep With Me Plus. And all you need to do is go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus or have them go there, scroll down to the gift subscriptions, and they could sign up and gift you 3, 6, 12 months of Sleep With Me Plus at any of our levels. Or if you want to give Sleep With Me a gift, sign up for Sleep With Me Plus. You'll be getting the gift because Sleep With Me Plus is the ultimate way to listen to the show. You've got a feed with ad-free episodes. You got a feed with story-only episodes. That's great if you listen all night long. If you love all intros or extra-long compilations, or if you love our bonus content like extra episodes from Ray, Fearless Flyers, everything is there, and it's all organized. You can listen in almost every podcast app, including Spotify. But I'm pushing these gift subscriptions. This is a new thing we're able to offer. People have been asking for years. So if somebody's looking to give you a gift, tell them to give you Sleep With Me Plus. And you can do all that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone. This is one part of the podcast, and we need you to hear. It's where I pop my peas, if you please. I thank the listeners who supported our sponsors, because I know so many of you get so much out of this ad-supported feed that is free to everybody. So you might want to do a finger clap along, since you're maybe already in bed or winding down. And I want to thank Pam, who got a Helix, took that quiz over at helixsleep.com/sleep, got a Helix, got a really firm one, Pam said. because Pam took the quiz, got matched with the perfect mattress for Pam's sleep needs. So if you take that quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep, let me know which mattress you got matched with. Let Helix know. Share it on social media. And when you get your new bed, tag me just like Pam did. Thank you, Pam. All right. If you want to hear, would you love to hear your name here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone? Support a sponsor. Take a free trial. Take that Helix quiz. And then let the sponsor know about it. Tag them. Tag me on social media is the best way, because then they say, wow, people really love this podcast. We really do get a lot out of supporting Sleep With Me. It is important to people. That's what your action does. And then they stick around and everybody gets to benefit by you. That's why I take the time to thank people, and I do it in an excited way so I can be here for you for free. So yeah, tag the sponsor, tag me, fill out the form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors. Thanks, everybody. The second part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need right now. There's links to resources, including international resources that you could connect with, including right now. It's also about being a part of a community, being a part of positive change. It's not just saying Black Lives Matter. It's not just saying stop AAPA. It's not just saying support Ukraine. It's taking action, learning more, and then taking action. And if you listen to these, I heard about Hand in Hand from RBG. It was one of her favorite charities. And it's never been a more important time to support organizations like Hand in Hand right now. It started with only 50 children in 1998. And Hand in Hand now has 6 campuses and thousands of Jewish and Arab students. And Hand in Hand's motto is partnership is the only way forward. Together we learn, together we hurt, together we support. And you could support Hand in Hand. You could use the link in our resources or go to handinhandk12.org to support the work they're doing. Because if you're listening to this, you know how important that work is. Also, there's other organizations we're supporting in our show notes. So use those links. And be a part of. Let me know about it. Thank you so much. Mystery Bard, a lot of people work really hard on this show. Who are they?
Poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mr. Bard. Don't forget, we've launched Sleep With Me Plus by the time you're hearing this. And if you're not in a position to support the show and you don't want to miss out on Sleep With Me Plus and all it has to offer, sign up for our referral program. And as you refer people to the program, you could get access to Sleep With Me Plus to ad-free episodes and story-only episodes. And you could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. That's REFER. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, or use the link in our show notes. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether that's thoughts, things that you're thinking about, thoughts about the past, the present, the future, things on your mind, thinking thoughts that are thinking, thoughts about thanks. This is the time of year where you start thinking about thank you notes. Don't overthink it. Thank you notes. It's been pointed out to me. It's that's one of the many areas I'm lacking in. But I'm thankful. Like I said, I'm thankful I get to make this show. Thank you. That's where I do assume. So you could have those same thoughts. You say, oh boy, I don't know if I've ever thought this. I don't hope I don't get any gifts this year, so I don't have to say thank you. I mean, I do say thank you in person or by text, or I say, hey, tell them thanks. And I do mean my genuine thanks. But here's the thing. I don't want to make excuses. It's mostly because I got a lot of, I let other things, let's see how to softly put this, other things grab my attention, internal things, before thanking people. But also, I'm not trying to say, not very many people are, there's only, one or two people in my life that say, oh, are you going to send a thank you note? One is my internal Nana. So maybe there's three, because my internal Nana, so always keeping, my internal Nana, always keeping score. Is the score accurate? She would say so. Can a score have negative points? Ask my internal Nana. She knows. Nana, she always knows. She's always keeping score. My internal Nana. But my handwriting's not very good anyway. And you'd also say, is this an aged? This is funny. Just it's the truth. That's the only reason I'm laughing is, you see, is this a dry aged thank you note? You see, it's not vintage, but I'm sensing that these thank you notes were purchased in like a 2007. Is this a 2007 purchase of did you purchase these seasonal thank you cards in 2007? I did. These are dry, believe it or not. Yeah, these are, I guess you could say they're dry aged thank you notes. They're 23. Set minus 3, so 27. Could they be from 2003 and say, yeah, these are 20-year aged. They're not technically cave aged, but I would like to say they're cave aged thank you notes. But yeah, they're great vintage. They're not vintage, because, I really wanted to get something with a 20-year, 15, I got a 15-year, maybe, I don't know. I have no idea, but, maybe maybe you say, well, I've got, is this a 7-year? Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah. 7-year dry aged, with some in it, at different times there was different humidities as it aged, because it was, and also we moved it from place to place and, aged in the cover of darkness. So as not to damage its delivery of my thanks to you that will be illegible. But that could be a cool exchange. I mean, if I get another shot at this down the road, we'll say that would be pretty cool. At least say, oh boy, that was great. That was a great. 2003 was a great year for mass market thank you notes that you buy. And I'd say, wow, you must have the greatest gratitude. Like you're the greatest gratitudeless person in the world. If you're thanking me for my thank you note, because really it's not dry. I mean, it is dry aged. We'll just say that. Because it's just been sitting in the bottom of, it's moved too. And I'm telling you the truth, somewhere where I live, unless by some grace of goodness, the only other place it could have gone is, I haven't really put a box. I have a box full of kitchen stuff because I'm not allowed. My landlord said no putting boxes on the corner of free stuff. But I have a box of free stuff that I keep meaning to, I'll just bring it somewhere. But I don't think you could bring an open box of thank you notes. I mean, maybe they said, we've been waiting for this, man. We got a whole display. 2003's greatest things. 2003's thank you note. Thank you notes of 2003. Oh, wait a second. Did you tune in for a sleep podcast? Well, you must be in the right place. Thank you for coming by. There's your thank you message. I don't know. So thoughts, I have thoughts, obviously. I mean, that was thoughts, feelings, anything coming up for you emotionally, any physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine, external or internal expectations. You say, talk about pressure, great expectations. No wonder Pip was so stressed. You see, could you do some, hey, Charles, could you do something more moderate? Expectations? No, not low expectations. Come on. You say, no, how about no expectations? Or just expectations, question mark. But no, yeah, I can't, no, please. No, I did read the book in high school, but I don't, I'm sorry. Like, it sounds like your expectations were, you sound like you had expectations about my reading Great Expectations. Yeah, Pip, I'm familiar with Pip, and, if I really get into it, I probably could uncover other things, but we won't be reading Great Expectations tonight. So, okay, thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, expectations, whatever's keeping me awake. The only reason I go through that is so you know you're not alone, that there's someone listening, and that I, who make the podcast, I'm here for you because I know how it feels in the deep dark night. I know how it feels to struggle to get to sleep or get enough sleep, to toss and turn over, to have different things when I lay my head down. That's really what goes through my mind. That whole tangent about thank you notes. The only reason it's funny is because we're talking about it, like I'm talking about it, because I know you can relate in some manner. And that's really what the podcast is about. To say, yeah, I might not have been through that same thing. I've never even conceived of making up a convoluted story that my thank you notes are. I could say, oh, no, I'm holding it for you. I'm going to send it to you later when it's really special. You say, like slow, like you're talking slow delivery. Like, is this tantric thank you noting? Are we discovering new? Oh, yeah, I deliver the thank you note. I buy the thank you notes in 2003, write it in 2023, deliver it 8, whatever. You say, think about the joy it could bring. That's like somebody gets Sting on the phone. See if Sting's interested in this. We could run with it. Tantric thank you notes. You say, I don't think that's accurate portrayal of any of those things. Well, it's better than dry. I mean, we had a winner with dry aged, so I figured we might as well double down. Or tantric delivery of thank you notes. I guess that's probably not tantric, but you say slow delivery just doesn't have the oomph, It's a marketing. I'm using tantric as a marketing term. Luckily, it's an imaginary, nonsensical marketing campaign for really deflecting the fact that I don't write thank you notes. So whatever's keeping you awake, I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff. One, because I can relate, and two, because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place you could get some rest, get the sleep you need. So that's why I make the show. What I'll do is I'll send my voice across the deep dark and I'm use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents, which you've already seen. We've had a pointless meander and superfluous. Like pointless meander was the first one, and then it was superfluous because you said is he still talking about thank you notes? I thought he was going to talk about sweating, and I said, well, I don't know if I have time anymore. So we'll see. I mean, maybe I'll the only reason I'm sweating is because I went running, came home, gave my dog a bath, then cleaned myself afterwards. Like separately, I gave my dog an outside bath because it was sunny and warm, then cleaned myself indoors, and then I kept it warm. I needed to I wanted to warm myself up. Then I took my dog for a walk, thinking it would fully cool me down, but I needed a sweatshirt now to go for the walk because I was sweating from my shower. I was robicizing in there, yeah, for sure. I was just doing a little Zumba, Not really, no, but but then I put my sweatshirt on, and I said, when I get home from walking the dog, I'm going to take to do a podcast intro for the episode we recorded yesterday. And so here we are. Now, luckily, the sweatshirt I'm sweating in is made from whatever plastic. I don't even know what it's made from, poly something. So it doesn't mind. So anyway, send my voice to across, that may have been a superfluous. No, that was actually not superfluous because I said I would talk about it. I wanted to respect your expectations. See, my expectations have been met. You talked about sweating. So, structure of the show. What do I talk about next? Oh, this is a podcast, believe it or not. I mean, you may be surprised, even if you're new, to learn this. This is a podcast you just barely listen to. Kind of like elevated background noise, but you can listen, or you can just kind of barely listen. There's people that listen to me at a mumble that do not hear anything I say, and then there's people that listen until they fall asleep or listen when they wake up, or people that play the podcast all night. But at first, just kind of see how it goes. Because for most people, the conversation tomorrow will look like, what did Scoots talk about last night? I don't know, like a sweatshirt full of I think the story was a sweatshirt full of thank you notes or something. Oh, Scoots, sounds just like him. I think, yeah, he changed that. You know how he always brings up the Spin Doctors every 85th episode? The two-hit wonder, by the way, not a one-hit wonder. In the 8 and 9, no, it was the 90s. Or, he said, yeah, I think he did, because he can't sing on the podcast, but he alluded to the fact that he had a sweatshirt full of thank you notes. Maybe not. Maybe I fell asleep and dreamed that. I don't know. Or he could have talked about it in his fourth or fifth tangent, you know? So it's a podcast you just kind of barely listen to. It's also a podcast. I'm not here to push you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. There is no pressure to fall asleep. There's a reason the show is over an hour. So you say, oh, I got plenty of time to fall asleep. Oh, there's over 600 and there's 601 free episodes in the ad-supported feed. So plenty of shows to choose from. So you say, okay, I got plenty to listen to. I don't have to worry about falling asleep because there's people who are listening who need a break during the day or who can't sleep. But there's no pressure to listen or to fall asleep, whether you're listening or not. I'm here to keep you company, to be your boyfriend, your boy bae, your boy sib, your boy bud, your boy best, your neighbor, your boy burr, your boy bee, your boars, your boy bud, your friend in the deep dark night, to keep you company while you drift off. And so that's what I'm here to do. Yeah, just keep you company and take your mind off stuff during the day or at night or whenever. And that's a little bit different. That is why the show takes some getting used to. Other things that take some getting used to is to structure the show. Now, it is structured in a very specific way, but you can alternate it. But there is a reason we structure the show. This is just a way we discovered that you can adjust the show, but a lot of people just enjoy listening to the show linearly like we make it. So the show starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen and welcomed in. If you're a regular listener, you feel something familiar. Then I try to be silly or something. And you say, okay, I'm in the right place. Or you say, if you're new, you say, I might check the show out. Then there's support, so the show can be free. Then there's a long meandering intro, which is separate from the support, which we're probably like 15 minutes into, meant to ease you into bedtime. Now, there is a small percentage of people that skip the intro and a small percentage of people that fall asleep during the intro. There's people that pay to have an ad-free experience for the show. There's people that pay for a story-only experience of the show. But there's also a lot of people that pay to hear only intros. So it kind of is like, as you become a regular listener, maybe you like listen to this like most people, the ad-supported linear show. Or maybe you want more things. But the intro is, for most people, something that eases you into bedtime. It's different every time, so that whatever's keeping you awake, it can't quite adjust and start, like my Nana say, oh, there he goes again. Like I said, I thought I was going to talk about sweating in my sweatshirt, but instead I talked about thank you notes and came up, I brainstormed some solutions about, some would say, my Nana would say, excuses. So that's the intro. It's just meant to ease you into bedtime. A lot of people listen as they're getting ready for bed or doing some chill activity or getting in bed and getting comfortable. And the intro could put you to sleep, but it doesn't need to. It's just meant to kind of soften the old pillow. Then there's support. Then it'll be a bedtime story. Tonight I'll be reading a Charles Dickens holiday tale. That was quite surprising, but don't worry. I made it my own, full of meanders. Even had to look a couple things up and couldn't even find some of them. And I already forgot the cool word that I looked up. That was a Dickensian word. And then there's that, and then there's thank yous at the end. So it's a structure of the show. That's why I make the show. I'm really, really glad you're here. I really hope this podcast can help you, because for the people it does, that become regular listeners or just listen as they're going through something, either way they say, hey, this is what I was looking for. I had no idea, couldn't quite put it into words. Neither can you, Scoots. But yeah, this is what I was trying to find. kind of like TV on or music on in 2 rooms over, but kind of like my friend hanging out and chilling in my room with no pressure, just telling me a story to put me to sleep. So give it a try, see how it goes. I'm glad you're here. I work really hard. So do a bunch of other people. We all yearn and strive, and we all really want to help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. All right, everybody, Scoots here, and we're doing something different for the holiday season that we haven't. I don't think I've ever done this before, but I was trying to think of, I don't know. I go to the Dickens fair, and I've read Dickens books in the past, but I know there's some Charles Dickens short stories that I haven't read. And so I thought I'd kind of like read and paraphrase and see like how much story we get through. Maybe the second half we'll put on Patreon, or maybe it'll be 2 episodes. I don't know. But I thought it would be fun to read through a Dickens story or 2. And I don't do a lot of reading on this podcast, so it might be something people enjoy. We could see and go from there. So this one is from 1850, A Christmas Tree. I've been looking on this evening at a merry company of children assembled around that pretty German toy, a Christmas tree. The tree was planted in the middle of a great round table. What do you mean? How's it planted on a table, dude? Towered high above their heads. And Dickens would say, you expand your vocabulary, son. It was brilliantly lighted by a multitude of little tapers, and everywhere sparkled and glittered with bright objects. There were rosy-cheeked dolls hiding behind the green leaves, and there were real watches with movable hands. And an endless capacity of being wound up, dangling from innumerable twigs. Innumerable twigs, I like that. There were French polished chairs, tables, bedsteads, wardrobes, eight-day clocks. I wonder what an 8-day clock. I guess we already got to pause and look up what an 8-day clock is. Sleep With Me, E-I-G-H-T. Oh, I hit W. E-I-G-H-T. 8-day clock. Okay, let's see, it comes up. Okay, this is an 8-day clock is defined by its internal movement. A 1-a-day clock requires winding once a day, where an 8-day clock, especially a cuckoo clock, runs for approximately 1 week on a single winding. So it is like one of those modern technology, I think. That's cool. I mean, that's not a lot of winding. Okay, wardrobes, articles of furniture, wonderfully made in tin at Wolverhampton, perched among the boughs. As if in preparation for some fairy housekeeping, there were jolly, broad-faced elven beings, much more agreeable in appearance than humans. No wonder. Wow, this is cool. No wonder for when you opened them up, they were full of sugar plums. There were fiddles and drums, there were tambourines, books, work boxes, paint boxes, sweetmeat boxes, peep show boxes. I think that's where you can watch the comedy program. Not like there was like a famous in England. There was like a, and I don't know, I shouldn't even, but it has nothing to do with like. I mean, it was like what do you call that? Improv, or no, sketch comedy. in all kinds of boxes. There were trinkets for elder girls, far brighter than any grown-up gold and jewels. There were baskets and pincushions and all devices. There was squirters and things to eat your meals with, and banners. There was cutouts of Lady Witchbeard standing in enchanted rings of pasteboard to see the future. Humming tops, needle cases, pen wiper. What's a pen wiper? Smelling bottles, conversation cards, bouquet holders, real fruit made artificially dazzling with gold leaf, imitation apples, pears, and walnuts, crammed with surprises. In short, as a child before me delightfully whispered to another child, there was everything and more. This motley collection of odd objects clustering on the tree like magic fruit and flashing back the bright looks directed towards it from every side. Some of the diamond eyes admiring it were hardly on a level with the table, and few were languishing with mothers and aunts. A lively realization of the fancies of childhood and set me thinking how all the trees that grow and all the things that come into existence on the earth have their wild adornments at that well-remembered time. Being now at home again and alone and the only person in the house awake, should be Dickens, man. Check out Sleep With Me podcast, the podcast that keeps you company. Because I guess Dickens was one of us. My thoughts are drawn back by a fascination I do not care to resist to my own childhood. I begin to consider what we do all remember best upon the branches of the tree of our own days, by which we climbed to real life. Straight in the middle of the room, cramped in the freedom of its growth by no encircling walls or a soon-reached ceiling, a shadowy tree arises, and looking up into the dreamy brightness of its top, for I observe in this tree the singular property that it appears to grow downwards towards the earth. I look into my youngest Christmas recollections. All toys at first I find up yonder among the green hollies. So you think he's shrunken down. This is cool. Up yonder among the green holly and red berries is the tumbler with his hands in his pockets who wouldn't lie down. But whenever he was put upon the floor, persisted in rolling about until he rolled himself still, brought the eyes of his upon me, which I affected to laugh very much. But in my heart of hearts, I was pretty unsure about him. So this kind of sounds like the old Elf on the Shelf, their version of it, a rolling ball dude. Close beside him is that infernal snuff box, out of which there sprang, holy cow, oh, this is a wind-up thing with a counselor in a gown, an obnoxious head of hair, and a red cloth mouth, laughing, not to be endured on any terms, but which could not be put away either. For he suddenly, in his highly magnified state, popped out of the mammoth snuff boxes of my dreams when least expected, nor is the frog with the cobbler's wax on his tail far off, for there was no knowing where he couldn't jump. And when he flew over the candle and came upon one's hand with that spotted back, red on green ground, it was a sight to see. The cardboard lady in the blue silk skirt who stood up against the candlestick to dance, and whom I see on the same branch, was milder and was beautiful. But I can't say much for the larger cardboard man, who used to be hung against the wall and pulled by string. There was quite an expression that I wasn't so sure about, and he could put his legs around in strange shapes. Didn't want to hang out with him solo. And what about that looked upon me? Who put it on? Why didn't I like it? Even though it was a happy face made of paper, I'd rather have it put away. The mere recollection of a fixed face, the mere knowledge of its existence anywhere was sufficient for me to try to listen to episodes of Sleep With Me, one after another. I never wondered why the dear old donkey with the, how do you say that, panniers, P-A-N-N-I-E-R-S, the things you put on your bikes. There he is. What was he made of then? Real to the touch, I recollect. And also the horse with the spotted round. The horse I could even get upon. I never wondered how a horse had became wooden, or thought that such a horse was not commonly seen at Newmarket. 4 horses of no color next to him that went into the wagon of cheeses that could be taken out and stabled under the piano, and appear to have bits of fur tippet for tails, and other for their manes, to stand upon pegs instead of legs. But it was not so when they were brought home for the presents. They were all right then. Neither was their harness unceremoniously glued back to their chests, as appears to be the case now. The tinkling works of the music cart I did find out to be made of quill toothpicks and wire. I always thought that the little tumbler in his shirt sleeves, perpetually swarming up one side of a wooden frame and coming down, head foremost on the other, good-natured, was the Jacob's ladder, next to him made of squares of red wood that went flapping and clattering over one another, each developing a different picture, and the whole, enlivened by small bells, was a mighty marvel and a great delight. Ah, the doll's house, of which I was not proprietor, but which I visited. I don't admire the Houses of Parliament half so much as this stone-fronted mansion with real glass windows and doorsteps and a real balcony, greener than I ever see now, except at watering places, and even though they afford but a poor imitation, and though it did open all at once, the entire house front, which was a blow, I admit, as a ceiling, the fiction of a staircase, and though it did open all at once, the entire house front, which was a blow, I admit, as the canceling, the fiction of a staircase was but to shut it up again, and I could believe. Man, Dickens was a lot like me. What do you mean I can't live in this dollhouse? Even open, there were 3 distinct rooms in it, a sitting room, a bedroom, elegantly furnished, and best of all, a kitchen, with uncommonly soft fire irons, a plentiful assortment of diminutive utensils. Oh, the warming pan, and a tin man cook in profile, who was always going to fry 2 fish. The noble feasts wherein a set of wooden platters figured, each with its own peculiar delicacy, a ham or turkey glued tight to it and garnished with something green, which I recollect as moss. Could all the temperance societies of these later days united give me such a drinking tea as I've had through the many means of yonder little set of blue crockery, which would really hold liquid? It ran out of a small wooden cask, I recollect, and tasted of matches, and which made tea, nectar. And if the 2 legs of the ineffectual little sugar tongs did tumble over one another, and what purpose, like Punch's hands, what did it matter? And if I did once shriek out as a child and strike the fashionable company with consternation by reason of having drunk a little teaspoon, inadvertently dissolved in it too hot tea, I was never worse for it except by a powder. Upon the next branches of the tree, lower down, hard by the green roller and miniature gardening tools, how thick the books begin to hang. Thin books in themselves at first, but many of them, and with deliciously smooth covers of bright red or green. What fat black letters to begin with. An archer and a frog. Of course he was. He was apple pie also, and there he is. He was a many good things in his time, was A. And so were his friends, except X, who had so little versatility that I never knew him to get beyond Xerxes or something like Y, who was always a yacht or a yew tree, and a zebra always, or Z always stuck being a zebra or zany. But now the very tree changes itself and becomes a beanstalk, the marvelous beanstalk up which Jack climbed to the giant's house. And those dreadfully interesting double-headed friends, carrying sticks for walking on their shoulders, stride along the boughs in a perfect line, holding hands with knights and ladies, taking them to dinner. And Jack, how noble, ready to help make dinner, shoes of swiftness. Again, those old meditations come upon me as I gaze up at him, and I debate within myself whether there was more than one Jack, which I am loath to believe possible, or only one genuine, admirable Jack who achieved all the recorded exploits. Good for Christmas time is the ruddy color of the cloak in which the tree, making a forest of itself for her trip through with her little basket, Little Red Riding Hood, comes to me one Christmas Eve to give me information about that forest friend. About that forest friend, and then kissed her after making a joke about her brushing her things in her mouth. She was my first love. I felt that I could have married Little Red Riding Hood. If I could have, I should have been known to perfect bliss. But it was not to be, and there was nothing for it but look out for her puppy poo. It put them in the Noah's Ark. Late in the procession on the table. Oh, the wonderful Noah's Ark. It was not found seaworthy when put in a washing tub. And the animals were crammed in the roof and needed to have their legs well shaken down before they got in. And even there, and then, 10-1, but they began to tumble out at the door, which was but imperfectly fashioned with a wire latch. But what that was against it, consider the noble fly, a size or two smaller than the elephant. The ladybird, the butterfly, all triumphs of the arts. Consider the goose, whose feet were small and whose balance was so indifferent that he usually tumbled forward and knocked down all the animal creation. Consider Noah and his family. Warm hands, tales of forest friends. Hush again. A forest and somebody up in a tree, not Robin Hood, not Valentine, not anyone yellow. I've passed and seen all of Mother Bunch's wonders without a mention, but they are glittering. Kings and queens and royalty down upon the grass, something you would find sleeping, a couple, head in one another's laps, relaxing and looking at the clouds, with keys to Cupid's hearts, wondering. And now all common things become uncommon and enchanted to me. All lamps are wonderful, all rings are talismans. Common flower pots are full of treasure. And with a little earth scattered on top, trees are for all. Trees are for all until we reach the valley and find precious stones and find eagles that carry string to their nest, and whence people say to the birds, hi, birds, and cook tarts and pastries and set them down, go through gates and cobble shoes and make up dinners, soups made of stone and fruits and, of course, roots, maybe beans, so they give some toots. None of that's Dickens, though. They pass through rings of stone and iron and go through caves, see a magic performed by a campfire. And they dance until the earth shakes. All dates imported come from the same tree. And all olives of fresh or fruit. And a boy tells a tale about olives and apples. People wear garments of sequin. Puppy dogs give kisses. Bakers sell their wares. Rice is ready to be served, and rice pudding as well. And other grains ready to go. Even night grains to eat at nighttime. And my very rocking horse there, who seems to breathe through their nostrils, by virtue ready to fly away with me on my next adventure. Yes, every object that I recognize among those upper branches of the Christmas tree, I see a fairy light when I wake in bed at daybreak. On the cold, dark winter morning, the white snow dimly beheld. Outside, through the frost on the window pane, I hear her, "Sister, sister, if you are yet awake, I pray you finish your tales. Please tell me those tales. I will finish and tell you yet more." And we breathe again. At the height of my tree, I begin to see, cowering among the leaves, a turkey or pudding or a pie or these fancies jumbled with Robinson Crusoe on an island, and Philip and their friends, and Sanford and Merton, Barlow, Mother Bunch. Or maybe it's from my of enjoyment of the delights, the delights, and that my imagination, over prodigious, exceedingly indistinct, and I don't know why, but it is. I can only make out an immense array of things, somewhat shapeless, which appear to be planted on a vast exaggeration of pine boughs. Could these be the toy stories from the tales? Or toy drummers, slowly coming close to my eyes and receding to an immeasurable distance? When it comes closest, I am not sure about it. In connection with it, remembrances of winter nights incredibly long, being sent to bed early without supper for a small offense, waking in 2 hours with the sensation of being asleep for 2 nights, and of laden feelings that I should again listen to Yet Sleep With Me, of morning ever dawning, and the weight of the night relieved by a rambling rambler. And now I see a wonderful row of little lights rise smoothly out of the ground before a vast curtain. Now a bell rings, a magic bell which still sounds in my ears unlike all other bells. The music plays. Amidst a buzz of voices, a fragrant smell of orange peel and oil. Anon, the magic bell commands the music to cease, and the great green curtain rolls itself up majestically, and the play begins. A devoted puppy dog sniffs for a place to take a break in the forest. Humor. And maybe someone with a little hat who says hello, whom I take from this hour forth as a friend. Maybe we go to the village inn for a snacky poo. But how many years have passed since he and I have met? Remarks in the... Holy cow, sassy-gassity? Dictionary. No definition found, really. Sorry, Charles. Here we go. Mental floss. 7 delightfully Dickensian words. This is from 2016. Sassagacity. This word for audacity with attitude was coined by Dickens. Never caught on. Maybe we could get it to catch on. Sassagacity. 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 It's kind of like sassafras, but with gas. Sassagacity. If you're going to be in one of those things, I doubt it would come up because it's not in sassagacity. I already lost where it was, but SASS agacity. Wonderful bell, the magic bell rings majestically. Where'd sassagacity go? Did I lose my page? Sorry, Charles and everybody. This is typical sleep with me, though. Oh, my friend, remarks on the sagacity of the puppy. It's surprising. The evermore jocular conceit will live in my memory, my remembrance, fresh and unfading, overtopping all possible jokes unto the end of time. Or now I learn other stories, so long ago I can't remember many of the details, but some come upon me to comfort me. Pantomime, stupendous phenomenon. When friends with big shoes dance around into the great chandelier, bright constellation that it is, covered all over, when gold and twist and sparkle. Pantaloon, whom I deem it no irreverence to compare in my own mind to my grandfather. And they have things like, here's somebody coming, or other jokes they say, I've seen you, everything is capable, and with greatest ease being changed into anything. And nothing is, but thinking makes it so. Now, too, I perceive my first experience of the sensation, often a return later, of being unable the next day to get back to the dull, settled world, of wanting to live forever in the bright atmosphere I've quitted, of doting on the little fairy with the wand like a celestial pole, and pining for a fairy immortality along with her. Ah, she comes back in many shapes, and my eye wanders down the branches of the tree and goes as often and has never yet stayed by me. Well, that's great. That's good, man. I relate. Out of this delight springs the toy theater. There, with its familiar, this is a word I can't pronounce, proscenium? We'll look it up. It's like the front of the theater. Feathers, boxes, its attendant occupation with paste and glue and gum and watercolors. In the getting up of the miller, the man, Elizabeth, in spite of a few besetting things, ups and downs, particularly unreasonable disposition, and some the double up of exciting points of the drama, teeming worlds of fancies so suggestive and all-embracing that far below it on my tree, I see the beauty of the dimmer, real theaters in the daytime, adorned with these associations, as with the freshest garlands of the rarest flowers and charming miettes. But hark, the waits are playing, and they do break my childish sleep. What images do I associate with this music I see set forth on the tree, known before all the others, keeping far apart from the others? They gather round on my little bed, an angel speaking to a group of shepherds in the field, some travelers, eyes uplifted, following a star, baby in a manger, child in a temple, people talking, and gates, people looking through, people in boats, walking, cooking, lights and oils, so many things, so many candles for different ways to celebrate in our world. Still lower on the mature branches of the tree, associations cluster thick, school books shut up, Ovid and Virgil silenced, the rule of three, with its cool, impertinent inquiries long disposed of. This stuff is way beyond of Terence and Plautus acted no more. Terence and Plautus, let's look that up. Can we look up? There we go. Nothing. In the arena of huddled desks and forms all chipped and notched and inked, cricket bats, stumps, and balls left higher up with the smell of trodden grass and its softened noises of shouts in the evening air. The tree is still fresh and festive. If I no more come home, there'll be friends when the world lasts, and they do. Yonder they dance and play upon the branches of the tree. Bless them merrily, my heart dances too. And I do come home. We all do or could, or come somewhere to call home. Like Ray says, you don't have to have a father figure to be a father figure. And that metaphor can translate well beyond that statement. You could do a short holiday or longer or better, depending how you define that. Wherever we are, forever working at our arithmetical slates to take and give a rest as we go a-visiting, or caroling, or clomping, as we heard last year. Where can we not go if we will? Where have we not been when we would, starting our fancy from our tree? Away into the winter prospect, there are many such upon the tree, on by low-lying misty grounds, through ferns and fogs, up on long hills, winding paths between thick trees, the trees almost shutting out the sparkling stars, so on broad heights until we stop at last with sudden silence at an avenue. The gate bell has a deep sound in the frosty air. The gate swings open on its hinges, and as we drive upon the house, the glancing lights grow larger in the windows, and the opposing row of trees seems to fall solemnly back on either side to give us place. At intervals all day, a hare across the whitened turf, or the distant clatter of a herd of deer in the hard frost, has for a minute crushed the silence too. Their watchful eyes beneath the fern may be shining now, if we could see them, like the icy dewdrops on the leaves, but they are still, and all is still, and so the lights growing larger and the trees falling back before us and closing up again behind us, as if to forbid retreat, we come to the house. There is probably a smell of roasted chestnuts and other good, comfortable things all the time, for we are telling winter stories or tales around the tree and the fire in the fireplace. We have never stirred except to draw a little nearer to it. But no matter what, we came to the house, for it is an old house full of chimneys where wood and old logs on the hearth and portraits, some of them with legends too, lower from the oaken panels of the walls. Here, a middle-aged nobleman who makes a generous supper with our host and hostess as their guests. It being the holiday season in this old house, full of company, and then we go to bed. Our room is a very old room. It is hung with tapestry. We're not so sure about this portrait of a cavalier. Green over the fireplace, beams on the ceiling. There is a great bedstead, supported at the foot by figures who seem to have come off and be friendly friends to hold up our bed, keeping us company in our particular accommodation. But we don't overthink it. We just tune in to sleep with me. We tell our friends, listen along with me while you support my bed. We'll share some time at the fireplace in our dressing gown, musing about a great many things. But at length we go to bed. Well, we can't sleep. We toss and tumble. We can't sleep. Again, Charles, Sleep With Me podcast puts you to sleep. We do it with your bedtime story, kind of remixed. But still, the fireplace burns calmingly and makes the room look warm and cozy. We peep out over the counterplane. and we look at the flickering light, who is calming and calming and calming. We tune into the podcast. In reality, I'm talking as Charles. I'm talking to myself, telling myself a story, and I say, this is a foolish idea, but maybe it'll help us fall asleep. We could just, or we could go for, maybe someone could hear me through the wall panels and I'm helping them sleep, telling this tale. So I just do it. And then I feel a door open within me. And I hear calm descend upon the house. I feel calm descend upon me. And I notice that the more I speak in a calming way, the calmer I feel. I could feel the wood both absorbing and vibrating with my Dickensian tones. And I wonder if I could be sitting at every bedside within this large house on this special night in this cozy, flickering fireplace, telling tales to everyone in here. What if I could tell tales across, and you say, well, you can't, there's actually there's a whole thing called the Dickens Fair that's about you. And it's not the only one. And then you could wring your hands and put on a dressing gown and sit there with your hands warm again at the bedside of everyone who needs it. And those who don't need it, they could still just feel the warmth of our presence passing by. For we're here, keeping one another company in a sense. And this can be done, even though within my mind it says we can't, that we should just pace the gallery till daybreak and then return to our room and fall asleep and be quickly awakened. And then eat breakfast against the shining sun. All the company say, Charles, did you sleep well? But that won't have to happen. After breakfast, we go over the house with our host and take a tour. And our host tells us tales that this house is a calming place, a special place where we tell tales, that the wood in the walls is meant to both absorb and vibrate with bedtime stories throughout history. And our host says, can you feel the calmness even here in the daylight, that you didn't have to, we know, Charles, you almost chose to just pace around, but instead you told a story in your own bed, but it did pass through the house. And I say that's impossible, but they say, well, actually, there's have you heard of those things where you put there's actually a mechanical aspect to it too. It's not all ethereal, Charles. It does pass through the house through these little things within your room that look like horns or funnels. And then I realized there's no end to these old houses, resounding galleries, bedchambers and wings, welcoming bedtime tales that calm our backs and our fronts too, that warm the cool night and reduce it to something much more comfortable and type in class, that calmly walk across our hearts and soothe us, that help us to pass the night in a calming way, whether awake or asleep or between those two. The feeling of the calming planks on the walls, that they're there, the warmth of the room, but the coolness of the window, that both are there, that this transcends time and place, no more, no less, always just the same. That this doesn't just exist in this house, but another house with doors always open calmly. Other doors, calming sounds, calming stories, calming images, calming smells, calming places, calming clocks, whether 8-day clocks or clocks ready to have a cuckoo. That calms you too. That calm is even waiting near the great gates in the stable yards. And it comes to pass and comes to visit us wherever we are, even in the Scottish Highlands. For those rested and those fatigued by long journeys, those who retire to bed early or those who go to bed late, those who say at the breakfast table, how odd to have so late a party last night in such a place, but I got here even after the party started and went to bed. And then people say, well, I could hear all night long a party at a distance across the field. Is there another house with a calm party that's enjoyable to listen to while you're resting with carriages driving around? But it's such a distance beyond the trees and the fog that it rests me. And our host smiled and said no more. And everyone was not yet silent, but hummed in a calming way. And after breakfast, they said it was a tradition to go on a carriage ride. And so approved, we all went on a calming carriage ride and rested yet again. And then we think of friends, friends we've known and friends we know, friends from school, particular friends we made, promises with as our best friend, our friend forever. Friends that are near, friends that are far. Friends, even when we say, I don't understand that term, in the course of time, friends are also calming too, and we can be friends to ourselves as Charles was to himself last night, our host said, progressing and calming. Even at night, we may take diverging paths that were wide asunder, but at night, for many years, hearing these calming ideas, whether at a manor or staying at an inn, whether on the Yorkshire moors or anywhere else in the world, you happen to look out of bed and there in the moonlight, you see something calming that reminds you of friendship or friends, and it's like a calming whisper. I'm here in the deep dark night to keep you company, as are the walls, a whole form becoming something in the moonlight that helps you stay calm. And ideas of picturesque homes, whether Elizabethan or others. You think about homes, you think about architecture, you think about the doll houses I listed before. And you say, oh, Charles, could you tell me a tale once more tonight of a broad walk, of gathering flowers, of turning my head, a picture of a story never begun and never finished, that's walking somewhere in this house, even when you're gone, calming us through the walls. A tale of an uncle or brother or wife riding horses calmly, mellow at an even sunset evening in a green lane. And they pass by a man standing, waving, smiling at the very center of a narrow way. Why, look at that man waving in the cloak, we say. Does he want to ride with us or just to wave? And we wave back, and the waving and the smiling seem to be enough. It's a good sensation. It goes through your bones and relaxes you, and we're close to it even though we've ridden by. His smile and his wave is still with us, gliding along with us, gliding along the bank of a river in a curious, friendly manner, backward, forward, moving without feet. Uncles, brothers, wives saying, why, hello, my cousin, Harry, riding by calmly in yet another horse, wondering at such calming behavior, not dashing but calmly moving to the front of the house. We think of French windows and horses passing by them, a drawing room opening onto the grounds. We think about introducing our cousins to other people's cousins and saying, this is my cousin. Is this your cousin? Yes, cousin. This is your cousin. We think of shows that say cousin, and we say cousin, and then we say chef, and then we say chef. And in that lane that only exists here in the walls and in our voices and in our stories, we feel calm here, this instance, together, wherever we are in the world. It's sensible. Even at 99, hearing the stories in these walls. Hearing the tales and the rambling and knowing the truth is this, that a story belongs to all of us. We all have this connection. Whatever the age, it doesn't even have to be an uncommonly fine story, which is told or heard. It just has to be a sense of presence, a sense of connectedness. That this story in this place, it cannot be held, but does not need to be held, for it's a guardian. It's held in passing in trust. And we know that this can be a good thing, whether in a bedroom or on a couch or in a guest room, whether you went straight to bed or not, wherever in the night or the morning, composed or uncomposed, forlorn or feeling pretty, prepped or unprepped, we're together in the deep, dark night, and everybody can breathe calmly or make a sound or groan. Everybody could kiss their shoulders and have a bit of peace of mind, or whatever's keeping us up at night. Maybe that goes downstairs with Scoots to eat grape nuts and to leave us be in this cool winter night. Those are forlorn thoughts. It could be with Scoots listening to his tale, peeping out of the windows or whatever and saying, we'll let them sleep and we'll just listen to this story. A legend of this house, is it? I don't understand. Scoot softly opens a door on each one of these thoughts and lets them look in. They take steps around the grape nuts, and Scoots tells them this doesn't taste like grapes or nuts, but as an adult he enjoys the flavor somewhat. But we don't need to communicate in this part of the house because it's just a part of a symbol, part of a calm that can ascend anywhere, 12 hours, 24 hours, or no hours, in castles or not, in the day or wherever you might be, whether you have bread or grapes or a flask of old Rhine wine. These calm tales reverberate, for they were before this podcast. They've always been there. They're right here in this legion of the names of these stories that let us draw close to a fireplace, calm embers, even if we don't have one, of those padded footstools that look like you could sit down and put your shoes on them or use them as a footstool. Of the vast crop of fruit shining on the tree and blossom at the very top, ripening down all the boughs. Among the toys and the fancies hanging there, as idle often, images once associated with waiting of softened music, encircled by social thoughts, and the figures of the past and the present and the future of anticipation yet unchanged, every cheerful image and suggestion that the season brings. Maybe the bright star rested upon the calming roof, a moment's pause, O vanishing tree, of which the lower boughs I can't yet see. Let me look once more. I know there are blank spaces on thy branches where eyes have shone and smiled, but far above I see more calm, the calm of these stories we share, the calm of these memories and calm, that yet we are together, and yet we are not, even though this doesn't make any sense and it's yet unseen. We can have a child's trustfulness and confidence. Now the tree is decorated with bright merriment and song and dance and cheerfulness. All are welcome. Innocent and welcome be they ever held, especially those brain bots that keep us up at night, beneath the branches of this tree, which cast no gloomy shadow. But as it sinks into the ground, I hear a whisper going through the leaves. This is a commemoration of love and kindness, mercy and compassion. You're not alone in the deep, dark night. We're all in this together. Good night, everybody, and happy holiday season, however you celebrate. even if it's just snuggled in bed with all me and you and all the other listeners out there sharing this moment together, a calming moment. And to Chuck D, Chuck D, who had a big place in my childhood, and Charles Dickens, too. Good night. I want to thank everybody that has been active and signed up for a referral program or is just about to get active. And let's take a look here. We got Aaron with a Y who just signed up. Ann C who just signed up. Cool Guy who signed up. Looks like there's 2 visits. And then we have Megan D. 9-page visits, 2 previews, and 6 referrals. So Megan D's already qualified for multiple months of Sleep With Me Plus, and we haven't even launched it yet. So that is cool. And this is real people, like, because people say, hey, can't afford to support the show, or, hey, why isn't the show 100% ad-free all the time? Those are 2 different things. If you can't support the show directly, great way, like Megan, that's in just 8 days, earned months and months and months of Sleep With Me Plus. And, so I'm going to be, once Sleep With Me Plus launches, I'll be reaching out to Megan and a few other people on here. And we have Carol D signed up, Ashley W, 5-page visits. We got... Cerois, that's a 1-page visit. Jackie, B, 6-page visits, 1 preview. Shanna, 4-page visits, 2 previews. So when a page visit preview means that somebody checked it out, but they didn't, subscribe to the podcast for free, a free subscription. And so the only advice I would give is it does take a few different ones telling a story, an honest story. So if you're sharing it with people in person, be like, hey, did you check? You might have to follow up or by email. But if you're sharing on social media, it does take with Sleep With Me, it takes 5 to 7 times before just a tiny percentage of the audience will respond. So it's kind of the same. If you're sharing on social media and you have 100 followers or whatever, or 100 family members or 100 friends, you might have to say, hey, this is my favorite sleep podcast. It's called Sleep With Me. This is why I like it. Then the second post might be, hey, this is Sleep With Me. This is one of my favorite episodes. This is why. Hey, the third post might be, hey, this is Sleep With Me. This is what my sleeping was like before, and now this is what I really enjoy about it. I'm sure that's what Megan and them are doing. Jed signed up. Hasn't got Sharon yet. Karen, 1-page visit. A lot of times 1-page visit, you're checking your page. Here comes another person, 6 referrals. Natasha, that's in 18 days. Natasha, 8-page visits, 3 previews, 6 referrals. Malik, 1-page visit, 1 referral. All right. And Brienne, still just signed up. Aaron, 1-page visit. Sjord was the first person to qualify for extra sleep for free Sleep With Me Plus. So thanks everybody. And if you're still up and you're hearing this and you say, hey, I want to do this for fun. Let's say you're a paid subscriber, you could reach out to me and let me know you signed up for the referral program. We could figure something else out. If you start getting a lot of referrals, we could either gift it to somebody. You could use it as, credit or discount or something. Or, let's say you support the show at, $60 a year. And you say, hey, Ann, I've gotten 12 referrals. We could figure out, hey, we could give you, maybe I could give you some sort of discount for the $120 level, So anyway, let me know, because I couldn't do it without all you. And this is exciting, really, because this is a huge free way to support the show. You wouldn't believe it. This is huge impact these listeners are having. So I really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much and good night. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, your Tuck You In sponsor, Helix Sleep. I don't know. Have you taken the Helix sleep quiz yet? HelixSleep.com/sleep. Because Helix has got a high-end collection now. Helix Elite. I think I have mattress FOMO because Helix has harnessed years of extensive mattress expertise to bring their customers an elevated sleep experience. The Helix Elite collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for specific sleep positions and firmness preferences. Every Helix mattress comes with a 15-year manufacturer's warranty and the same 100-night trial as the rest of Helix mattresses. And I don't know if you knew this, but Helix supports military, first responders, teachers, and students by giving them a special discount on site. Unlike a lot of mattress companies out there, Helix owns its own manufacturing facility. Each and every Helix mattress is made by a team of skilled manufacturers and shipped directly from their facility to your door. And you shouldn't have to compromise on comfort. Helix has mattresses with cooling technology that helps regulate your body temperature, whatever the season. I don't know if there's anything worse than going to a mattress store and laying down on a mattress. Hundreds of people have tried before you while somebody watches you, a salesperson asking you questions, but you can tell they just care about you buying a mattress that day. Well, with Helix, you order a mattress online and you receive easy, no-contact delivery. And you don't have to be nervous about buying a mattress online because the Helix Sleep Quiz takes into account your individual sleep preferences to match you and your partner with the perfect mattress for you. Now, if you don't want to take my word for it, Helix has over 1,200 5-star reviews. And by supporting Helix, you're allowing them to support me and my show. So go to Helix and thank me later for the best night's sleep. And you know I love my Helix Dusk Luxe. Holy cow. I'm going to have to look up the Elite models, but mattress is a huge improvement every time I travel, every time I go anywhere. I cannot wait to get home and get back in my Helix. And that includes staying at really nice hotels. I have not found a mattress to compare, so I don't know if you're as happy with your mattress as I am with my Helix Dusk Luxe. But one of the reasons I love it so much is because it's matched to me and my needs. I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach. I want to sleep cool. So take that quiz. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now.